It is week 2 of the high school football season in the state of Ohio, and it is week 3 in the state of Indiana. Welcome to Harrison, Ohio, and Bill Kuntz Field for OHSAA high school football here on ICRC-TV. Alongside Glenn Olson, my name is Patrick Etchen. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Friday night. Glenn, this is a rivalry game that crosses state lines. These two schools very close to each other. Last year it was close as well, with Harrison winning in overtime.
14 miles, just a 17-minute car ride is all that separates these schools. It's the Battle of I-74, if you will. The East Central Trojans, based out of St. Leon, Indiana, right up the road. And, of course, the Harrison Wildcats right here, about as north and as west in Claremont County as you can get. Last year, as Patrick mentioned, a nail-biter of a game. It ended up being a 27-24 victory for the Harrison Wildcats. In overtime for East Central first, Caden Brown-Dyke kicked a 22-yard field goal to put the Trojans ahead, but then back came the Wildcats behind the arm of senior quarterback Frankie Young. He hit Jake Fett for a 7-yard TD to win the game. A nice little rivalry developing between these two schools, in addition to a proximity rivalry. They've split 2-2 over the last 4 meetings, Patrick. It's
been very close as well. The last 3 meetings have been decided by 3 points or less too. Let's talk about East Central, Glenn, and this is a team we don't really know how they're going to show up this week. In week 0 in Indiana, they had a great show against Lawrenceburg, although last week against Oak Hills, a lot of question marks.
Yeah, really not sure which team's going to show up. Kind of Jekyll and Hyde right now for these Trojans in week 1 and a Skyline Chili crosstown showdown. They absolutely demolished another rival of theirs, Lawrenceburg, by a score of 38-7. Then last week they took on another Ohio team, the Oak Hills Highlanders, part of the GMC, which our ICRC subscribers and fans are pretty familiar with.
Yep.
Because of their games with Princeton and Sycamore and Mason. A little bit of a rebuilding team for the Highlanders, but the Highlanders emerged victorious last week with the win, 28-21. Some last-second heroics, the last 2 minutes of the game, really, to give the Highlanders the win, but they did emerge victorious.
Harrison now, it's week 2 in their second home game of the season. Last week, a huge win over Butler on this field. It got the fans pumped up, and a big offensive explosion from their quarterback as well.
You know, we've gotten used, I guess, to seeing these big offensive numbers out of the SWAC schools, Mount Healthy, Harrison, and Edgewood. Little Miami's coming along now with their new head coach out there in his 3rd year now, I believe. So big offensive numbers, but wow, last week Harrison, Connor Kennett, 6 touchdowns, 4 through the air, 2 on the ground. The offense is definitely going to run through him. 467 all-purpose yards last week. I got a feeling we're going to be calling his name a lot tonight.
I feel like it too. Another name we'll be calling on the other side will be number 12, the senior quarterback for East Central, Alex Maxwell. Led this team to a state championship last year, their second in program history, and he's been pretty good. Yeah, the 4A state champions last year in the state of Indiana. He's off to a good start so far this year, 5 touchdowns to his name. For a career, just a stellar career for this young student athlete. 4,159 total yards of offense in his career, 1,552 through the air and 2607 on the ground. So we're expecting to see the Trojans to run the football a lot tonight. We're expecting to see Maxwell lead the way in that regard. He was an all-state selection in Indiana last year as well in Class 4A. Let's talk special teams now, kind of an underrated part of this game, but both kickers coming in perfect in extra points throughout this part of the season. And in games like this where it's going to be close, points come any way you can get them. Yeah, definitely. No field goal attempts for either team yet. All their scoring has come through the end zone, whether it's been on offense or special teams, and that's something else to keep an eye on. Against Oak Hills last week, Devin Donalworth had a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown against the Highlanders. So we may see some special teams excitement tonight as well, and if these games are as intense and close as we've seen, we may even see that first field goal attempt for the year for both teams. These schools just 14 miles, 17 minutes apart. Harrison with a blackout, East Central answers with a whiteout. Kickout is next for this ICRC rivalry game, Harrison and East Central.
Again. Wow, what a snap. Upstairs. Back to road. He just kind of slinks one out there. It's picked off. He'll draw up the middle. He's got room. 5. Touchdown, Collins.
Time, no pressure, is going to go to the end zone. Touchdown, Milford Eagles.
Johnny Hill over the middle. He's got Mancini Jackson over Mancini into the end zone. Mancini.
in Harrison, Ohio, as the both teams honoring a moment of silence right now. And then the national anthem will come up. Patrick Eschen and Glenn Olson with you here at Bill Coons Field in Harrison. So a moment of silence, and then the anthem. Glenn, this is a very large crowd for a very big rivalry game on both sides, and there's a lot of energy right now.
Yeah, the stands are absolutely packed, a lot of white across the way in these central stands.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in the
Moment of silence is done, and now the national anthem. Then we'll get to
our America. In respect for all who have served our wonderful country to defend the freedoms we enjoy, we ask gentlemen to remove your hats and stand for the playing of our wonderful national anthem by our great band.
And as we were saying, Glenn, a lot of energy in the stadium for this big rivalry game. These two teams very close to each other geographically, and it should be a good one tonight.
Yeah, essentially a neighborhood rival, even though there are state boundaries in the way. Good crowd on hand in both sets of bleachers. The visitor bleachers are packed. The students are having a whiteout, as you talked about in the pregame. They'll be on the right of your screen in some of your camera shots. I got here at 5:30, and the Harrison student section was half filled at that point. They're having a blackout tonight. They're body painted up and wearing black. And, you know, as we get ready to get kickoff underway here, sun's peeking through directly across from our broadcast location here. So we may see some sun yet in this game. Very hot and humid day for these players. So we're going to want to keep an eye on cramping, as it had been relatively cool and the temperatures have slowly been creeping back up. Temperature in the high 80s officially today down at the airport.
Very hot and humid, not only on the field, but also in the press box as well from our broadcast position, Glenn, as both of these teams get ready to play this game. I mentioned Harrison coming off that big win last week over Butler by a score of 42-19, and it was an East Central team. They're looking to kind of get back to things here, trying to go 2-1 after a 28-21 loss at Oak Hills last week. So we are set, ready to go for kickoff as both sides are lined up and ready to go.
It's Cam Herring and number 80, Brett Reinstatler, back deep for the Wildcats to receive, Patrick. Kicking things off for East Central is going to be number 48, Caden Brown-Dyke, who we talked about in the pregame. Interestingly enough, we are assuming he has a sister on the roster, a freshman, wearing number 47, Sophie Brown-Dyke.
Very interesting there, so we will keep an eye on that. But Caden, they're probably not going to take him out of the kicking position. As you mentioned, Glenn, in the open, 8 for 8 on extra points this year. So they'll place the ball at the 40, both sides making noise. They've waited a full week for this rivalry game. Brown-Dyke raises his hand and steps up to it, and we're underway on this Friday night from Harrison.
Nice kick's going to be fielded at the 2-yard line by Reinstatler.
And Reinstatler will try to go with it up the middle. Got past a few layers of defense and is down at the 30 for a good return. And that is where Harrison will be dropped. Connor Kinnett come out 18 for 23, 392 yards passing last week. And as you mentioned, Glenn, 6 touchdowns, 4 in the air, 2 on the ground.
He's a special young man taking over for Frankie Young and putting up big offensive numbers already. We've gotten used to those gaudy offensive stats not only out here at Harrison, but across the SWAC in general. So we'll see if that trend continues tonight.
6'3", 225 is how they list Kinnett. And he will have an empty backfield here to begin things in this game. 3 wide to the right and 2 wide to the left. And some early movement on the East Central line, and that's going to result in a penalty.
Yeah, no doubter on that one, Pat. East Central a little bit anxious and just jumped into that neutral zone second or two early.
We were at Princeton last week, and the Princeton offense had, I think it was 10 penalties for 200 yards or something crazy like that. So
like 17, I think, was all said and done. I think those refs are still in therapy for throwing so many flags.
So we are used to seeing penalties if you were with us last week for Princeton. So this will set up an early 1st and 5 for Harrison. Only have to get to the 40-yard line for a first down. Kinnett with the same formation, an empty backfield, points to his left, takes the snap, and another flag.
That's going to go on Harrison. There was some confusion as quarterback looked to be making an adjustment to the play call that was signaled in, and there's confusion on the part of the offensive unit. There was early movement.
So we'll go right back to where we started on 1st and 10. 12 seconds off the clock. We still haven't snapped the ball yet officially. And already 5 penalty yards to each side. So we'll see how the Harrison offense lines up for this. Another empty backfield for Kinnett, and the same formation with 2 to the left and 3 to the right.
Looks like East Central's going to bring some pressure up at the line. Man coverage.
They want to get to him early here.
Now they're going to fall back into a zone look.
Kinnett takes the snap, looks far side for a long pass. They get to him early. The ball is loose. Never mind. It did come loose. Kinnett now on the far side. Launches one downfield, and it's caught on the first play of the game. And that's going to be a great pass and a tackle right down to the 20-yard line. It could have been to number 18, Sean Klug, the 5'11", 170 sophomore, and when I thought the ball was loose, Harrison ends up turning it into a big gain.
Yeah, it looked like Brett Fox was set up for a sack for the Trojans. Kinnett able to escape from that pressure and turn it into a big gainer, as you said, immediately into East Central territory.
So that is the first snap of this football game, and it results in that. Kinnett with a man to his right now. 2 receivers left, 3 right. It's going to be a play action fake. Kinnett will keep and will try to trudge his way through for a few yards on the ground as they get inside the red zone. Gain of 1 there to set up 2nd and 9.
Number 5, Kyle Crumman, the junior, makes the stop. No gain on the play. Set the ball spotted officially to Harrison 19.
Kinnett was also pretty good on the ground last week. 17 attempts for 75 yards and those 2 rushing touchdowns. 467 total yards last week for the junior quarterback, who is a big part of this Harrison offense, needless to say. We'll see Alex Maxwell on the East Central side here after the Harrison drive, and he is very important to them as well. Kinnett takes the snap, little screen pass over to the right side, and there is a catch and a quick tackle. Pass complete to Levi Tidwell.
Devin Donilworth, who we talked about in the pregame with the punt return against Oak Hills last week, showed his defensive prowess, making the stop.
Tidwell listed as a running back, 6'0", 185, another junior on this Harrison offense. As it sets up a 3rd down here, and about 5 is where they're going to mark it. Ball will be just inside the 15-yard line, possibly on the 14. And as Harrison here slowly going to line up to this football. Big explosive play there on 1st down, and they've had some trouble getting it to the 1st down marker.
No 25-second clock here at Bill Koontz Field.
They could take as long as they need to. Kinnett, another little pass. This hits their receiver, and he will get it to the end zone for the touchdown after being tackled. He's in over the goal line, and that is number 20, Jacob Reardon, his number 1 man, and it is a 6-0 early lead for the home team.
East Central's just a half a tick off, Patrick. They're getting pressure past that Harrison offensive line, but Kinnett, with that quick release, was able to dump that ball off, and Reardon then takes it to the house for 6.
So an early drive and an early touchdown for the Harrison Wildcats to open this game. That's exactly what they wanted here on their home field, as we will see the extra point from Fartzing, and he will remain perfect on the year at now 7 for 7 in extra points, and it's a 7-0 Harrison lead early. That will get the crowd on their feet.
Yeah, Harrison crowd liking what they see so far out of this offense. We seem to say it every week when we're doing these games, Patrick, this big play capability. But boy, Harrison really just impresses there. They start with the penalty and then move the ball down the field pretty quickly, able to get away from that pressure coming from the Trojans. As I talked about, turning into 6, early 7-0 lead for the Wildcats.
And we saw that play. Kinnan not only has a long arm, but also some athleticism as well to get away from that. So it will be Farfsing right back out there for the kickoff. And for East Central, they will have 2 men back. Looks like Devin Donnerworth is back there on the near side. And that might be number 26, Andrew Struing, on the left.
Well, we again talked about Donnerworth. Keep an eye on him. He's got special plays capabilities.
Farfsing kicks it off, right hash, goes right into the arms of Donnerworth, decides to take it far side, cut to the middle, and he couldn't get through that trap of 3 black jerseys, but it's still another good return past the 35, down around the 37-yard line. And that is where East Central will begin their drive, and where we will see Alex Maxwell, number 12, the All-State quarterback, the senior, coming in and trying to lead his team back to another deep playoff run.
Very nice return there by Donnerworth. He fielded that ball around the 5-yard line on the near hash. As you said, Pat, he advanced it up to just past the 38-yard line. So very good return. Harrison didn't bring a lot of pressure down early, but they were laying in wait and nowhere for Donnerworth to go.
So the East Central offense will trot out onto the field here. The Harrison defense having some trouble lining up, and they are a little bit confused right now. This will be a little pitch play, and this is a run on the far side, and getting pushed out of bounds there was number 13, Jake Fike, who is another big part of this offense, the running back for East Central.
Yeah, Fike came into this game with pretty good statistics so far. 39 carries, 45 yards, has a long of 13 and a touchdown run.
Another run play this time. Fike will keep it again. Harrison stops him for a few yards that time as East Central begins on the ground, which is what we expected coming in, Glenn.
Fike really wants to get that yards per carry stat up. He's under a yard so far, but 2 carries in a row now, and one of them for a big gainer.
And I believe Harrison with some defensive confusion here on that play, and they're going to have to call an early timeout here. We're not even 3 minutes into this game, and they will have to burn their first of the half. It seemed, though, from the first play that they were a little confused lining up.
Yeah, there were some mixed match personnel on the field coming on and off, and East Central was able to take advantage of that on that first running play and get the play off before Harrison was even set defensively. There you take a look at our starting lineups for the Wildcats defensively.
All upperclassmen, juniors and seniors on that list. You expect that at the varsity level, but it shows that this team is experienced. So those are the starters defensively for Harrison in this game. And we will have East Central come back out here for a 2nd down and 9 play. Their ball on the Harrison 47-yard line. So Harrison now all on the same page defensively, you would think, after the timeout. East Central now getting their personnel back out onto the field. And we'll get back going here. 7-0 Harrison early on. It was a touchdown pass caught by Jacob Reardon for the Wildcats. And this is another run play that kind of just moshes into a short gain. And that'll set up 3rd down here for East Central, where all the offensive plays have been on the ground so far.
It was number 45 on the carry for East Central. That's Nicholas Griffin. Griffin has seen some action so far this season. Just 1 carry for 5 yards. So
creative play there on the run, and that one will be taken by Eric Rosemeyer, number 14. He's the senior running back, and he will just be short of the 4th down marker there. They're going to say about a yard.
Rosemeyer had 8 carries for 18 yards coming in to tonight's game on the season. A lot of guys are going to run the football for the Trojans. They're not a big passing team, as we talked about in our pregame.
Crowd gets loud for the defense here. A 4th down play for East Central. Man comes over, that was Fike. He'll resume his position there on the left side of the line. Maxwell will take the snap, little pitch out to Fike. He'll find his way through. Did he get there? It will depend on where they mark it. Initially, it looks very, very close. And let's see where they spot this football and see where he was down. Kind of hard for the officials to see. A lot of bodies in the way, and this might be one that they got to measure possibly.
Yep.
They're going to have to bring out the chains. Very close play, Glenn.
Well, and this is a natural turf field, not the artificial surface that most schools have gone through. No rain in the area the last couple days, so the sledding should be pretty good out there, but there is a noticeable crown in the field for drainage purposes. See if that has any impact on the spot of the football.
So the chain will be, oh my goodness. I don't know if our cameras can zoom in on that. They're going to call it a first down.
Thought it was going to be short by less than an inch,
wow.
But our official, as you saw, gives the first down indication. So
that's about as close as you could get, and the entire East Central side of the field jumped for joy on that call.
I think everybody in our press box was a little surprised here.
On the Harrison side of things. So East Central will continue the drive with an important first down there on the pickup from the run from Fike.
Well, it looks like the Chicago Bears with that uniform scheme do the Trojans.
Kind of reminds me of that as well. Little pitch there to the outside. That will be number 14, Eric Rosmeyer again, and he will be tackled down after another short game on the ground for East Central.
Gonna have to be careful. We've got two 14s on the East Central roster, Rosmeyer and Renk. Just noticed that.
Renk, a 5'6", 126 sophomore. He's listed as a quarterback and defensive back, so maybe we'll see him out here tonight.
So tremendous depth for both of these teams. East Central could probably put 2 more units out on the field with everything they have on the sideline, and Harrison as well.
Their players stretch for a long way. Maxwell sets up for the first pass play from East Central, and there's a catch. I believe he held on to it, and that's a pretty good one.
Number 10, Trevor Becker, hauls that one in. Becker, 3 catches for 42 yards, and he's going to add to his gaudy stats so far this year with that. A big gainer, almost a Statue of Liberty play. The quarterback tucked that ball back in his kidney area before bringing it out and setting up his pass.
Broke away from the defender as well pretty early, so now they're inside the red zone. Ball will be spotted here right at the 9-yard line, it appears, for a first and goal play.
Now they're going to go jumbo.
It'll be Fike there, who they will pitch it to. Never mind, that's Rosemeyer, and he will charge his way through. Did he get there?
Nope.
Just short.
1 yard line.
Number 14, Eric Rosemeyer.
Right inside the 5, and that sets up a second goal for East Central, pretty close.
Well, we wondered in our pregame which East Central team is going to show up. And so far, it's the team that's capable of running a pretty good offense and picking up some yards, Patrick.
They've done it a lot on the ground, too. Got to also acknowledge that pass play from Maxwell. Able to try to slowly grind down Harrison in this game. Same formation, little pitch out. This is Rosemeyer, and he will get his way into the end zone for a touchdown. And East Central will be on the board on their first drive as well. It is now 7-6 on Rosemeyer. They go to him again for the touchdown on the ground.
Really nice job by Rosemeyer. You're going to see here on the replay, he's going to take that pitch right into that gap, lower his shoulder, and take 2 defenders with him as he barrels into the end zone for 6 points.
So we will see another kicker who's perfect in extra points so far this season, number 48, Caden Browndyke. 8 for 8 coming in, don't want to jinx him. Well, this will be an important kick as they line up for it. Good snap, good hold, and it's right through. And this game now tied at 7-7. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, Glenn, and they came in kind of different fashions.
Yeah, East Central relied on a couple of big plays and then some grind-em-out plays when they needed short yards, where Harrison opting to take big chunks of yardage in theirs, Patrick. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how the offensive scheme evolves for both of these teams tonight in response to what they are seeing out of the defense.
So the teams here will send back out their special teams unit. Just under 6 minutes left here in this first quarter in a 7-all game. Keeps getting more humid and humid as we look out towards the West Glen.
Humid is an understatement. That's what I love about football. Weeks 1 through 3, you're in shorts and a t-shirt. 4 through 7, you might put a pullover on, and then 8, 9, 10, you have the fleece and the blanket out.
Get a sample of about everything.
Yeah.
Football season, but there's 3 seasons in football season.
Well, and you want to see your team make it to Canton or Columbus, wherever the state title is in early December. And we always seem to get snow in those state title games wherever they're being held north of the Cincinnati area.
That's even more fun. Browndyke will kick. This one will bounce in the end zone and stop there for a touchback. So that's where Harrison will begin without a return. On this second offensive drive of the game for them, Connor Kinnett and the offense will come right back out.
Pat, the game you and I did last week, you know, we saw a lot of kicks landing or being received inside the 5-yard line and the receivers bringing them out, or the deep men bringing them out. Not so tonight. Harrison wisely letting that ball go into the end zone for the automatic touchback.
Don't want to risk it this early on. Kinnett with a man to his right, and 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left.
Well, and let's face it, fielding a kickoff is a pretty specialized skill, and if you can avoid the risk of injury to your players, why not take it?
Especially at this part of the year. Kinnett will pass this one to the near side. It'll be incomplete. Intended for C.J. Young, the junior wide receiver. And second and 10 comes up for Harrison as they try to go to the air on the first play of the drive.
And that was Donnerworth and Ludwig in coverage there for East Central. So had the pass been caught, it probably wasn't going to result in much of a gain. Pretty good secondary for these Trojans.
Mentioned their depth. They've got all of it in a lot of positions. Kinnett with a handoff here, and there's a strong takedown.
Well, that one ought to make the highlights. I don't think we have any local media here tonight, but we ought to send that one out.
Levi Tidwell, the ball carrier. I couldn't quite see who brought him down, but that was very forceful.
You're going to see it here on the replay. That was number 5, Kyle Croman, who was in all over that play. It was dead in the water. Never had a chance to get going. Ball carrier just was mugged immediately, and mugged in a literal sense of the word.
So it is a loss of 6 on the play. It sets up a 3rd and 16 for the Wildcats.
Might want to take that one out of the playbook so your offensive line can figure that out a little bit.
Kinnett, 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. He's got a man directly to his left behind the line. He'll take the snap, drop back for a pass. Looking long, nobody open. He's got to come back to the near side with pressure, and he will get a completed pass through. And there's a good catch to his number 1 man so far tonight, Levi Tidwell, and he will move the chains for a Harrison first down. That's a great play.
That sure was. Ludwig and Griffin on the stop for the Trojans. Offensive line held up. 1 defender got through late as the quarterback was scanning the field for a receiver. But a good job, especially by number 9 Ludwig there, to contain that, limit the gain. Not much yards after catch on that one.
Fast moving first quarter, already 5 minutes under to go in it. And this is a handoff here on a run play as Kinnett gave it up.
That's number 20, lost his hat.
Jacob Reardon, the running back. And he's going to have to come out for a play as his hat came off.
Interesting move by the Harrison offensive staff here, giving East Central something to think about by starting to put a back in the offensive backfield with the quarterback after we saw those 3 and 4 wide receiver combinations early on in the first possession.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Kinnett. Ball on the near side of the field, looks for a pass, near side, and looking downfield, but just over the head of Brett Reinstadler, also the kickoff returner, and does some receiving duty as well, and that was over his head. Another 3rd down coming up for the Wildcats.
Yeah, just a little bit
We
too
have a
much.
flag on the play, though, Blunt.
Probably some trash talking after the game. Flag came in very late. So do we have offsetting? One official indicated a penalty toward East Central, and the other toward the Harrison Wildcats.
The flag came out after the play ended, and I'd say probably a good 10 seconds after the play, as the referee and another official are conferencing. So here's the call.
Well, that's the illegal receiver for Harrison. Illegal man downfield. It's declined.
4th down.
So now to set up 3rd and long.
Referee just put up 4th down. It's actually 3rd down, so
now
confusion on the field, and now it looks like the conference.
Yeah, officials are suffering from a little bit of heat stress tonight. They can't get on the same page as to what down it is.
So now they're going to have to conferences. Just about everybody was given a different call. And so now we're on the same page. They're down. And about 9 coming up for the Wildcats. The ball didn't move at all from its original position. So whatever penalties occurred were either offset or declined.
It was only on Harrison and it was declined to set up a 3rd and long. They don't want to give him another crack at it.
Get it here with another long pass. This time it is another one to Ryan Statler. He was an eligible receiver that time. It was over his head again, and it sets up 4th and 9.
Same play, same result.
Ryan Statler.
Going to go down to that near sideline and overshot him.
Trying to catch him off guard, maybe.
Going to be 3rd time will be the charm. He's definitely getting the separation. It's just that Kennett is getting a little bit too much air underneath the ball, and Ryan Statler doesn't have a chance to even lay out for that ball.
5'11", 170, the senior. So the punt team will be on here for the Wildcats. Max Measle on, averaging 42.5 yards per punt. That's a pretty good one. Fielded there by Donnerworth. And he is going to get nailed there at the 40-yard line after a good start to the return. He had a punt return, 74 yards in the game last week against Oak Hills.
He was tripped up, Patrick, and if that touchdown-saving shoelace tackle hadn't come in, I think there's a pretty good chance he turns us into 6 points. Got tripped right there. It wasn't a shoelace tackle. He just got tripped up.
Could be some footing there on the grass field. Maybe had something to do with that.
Indeed. Well, I'm pretty sure that East Central game was at Lawrenceburg, I believe, right? Lawrenceburg definitely has turf, and I think last week I would imagine Oak Hills does as well. So this may be their first time playing an actual game on natural grass.
You don't know how much they practiced on it this week either, as here's a run by Rosemeyer, and he will get a modest gain there out to the far side, and that's going to set up a 2nd down and about 4.
Don Stonefield, the former coach turned athletic director, now interim coach for East Central, will take that all game. If you're going to run the ball on 1st down and pick up 6+ yards, he'll keep that coming at Harrison.
Want to attack teams on the ground. That's how they've done it the past 2 weeks. Remember, Indiana has a week 0 in their schedule, so this East Central team has played an extra game other than the teams in the Southwest Ohio region, as Rosemeyer here another run, but stopped after a gain of about 1.
Very good second effort by Rosemeyer, excuse me, tackled by Reardon. But good second effort.
2:40 to go here in this first quarter. 3rd down at 4, so they're going to say no gain on that play. Rosemeyer lined out far side of the line. Little pitch play here. This is Fike, and he is tripped up quickly. Then gets back up. They're going to say he wasn't down. And trying to get some room there on the far side of the field. He will be taken down quickly by the men in black. And this will be a 4th down and 4. It looks like again for East Central in their own territory.
Yeah, unfortunately for Trojan fans, it is a punt situation. But I tell you really have to like the second effort of the running backs for the Trojans. They're getting hit a lot in the backfield, as you're going to see on this play, and they're able to escape that contact and try to get out and turn it into positive yards. Unfortunately, just not enough on that play.
So we will see a punt here from Rosemeyer. Ran a little bit, and this one will stop right at the 15-yard line, take a bounce, and that's where East Central will touch it. And that's where Harrison will begin their next drive.
I think you could call that a modified rugby style kick. You didn't really go side leg with it, but just unorthodox from a traditional punting stance with those running steps into the football. Nonetheless, worked out pretty well for him.
Pretty good special teams play early on from both teams, as 1:36 to go here at quarter number 1, a 7-7 game. So both teams scoring on their first drive, but unable to convert on their second.
Well, just had a sneaking suspicion that special teams is going to play a role in this game before it's all said and done, especially with the closeness of the series, as we talked about, 2 games apiece over the last 4 years, and the overtime thriller last year.
Maybe we'll have one of those this year. That would be pretty nice.
long as we don't run out of water.
And it doesn't rain. Kinnett near side, looking to throw again, and this is going to be picked off. East Central comes up big. That's number 33, Cole Veal. The sophomore at 5'10", 160, the first turnover of the game, and that's going to be a huge momentum shifter in this game as the defense walks off the field for East Central.
I believe that's the second interception by turnover on the year for the Trojans. Well, you live by the sword, die by the sword, right? You know Harrison's going to pass the ball a lot, and unfortunately those things happen. Let's take a look at the replay. Then at all kinds of time, had a clean pocket, a little bit of an off-balance throw, but looked like that defender may have snuck over into that passing lane. Kenneth didn't pick it up.
Another good play by the secondary, Glenn. Here's a long pass from Maxwell, and
wow,
that is a great catch.
Sure
on the
is.
far sideline, he held on to number 25 back stunner, targeted for the first time in the game. He caught it over his head and used his helmet to bring that one down.
Yeah, sort of reminiscent of that play in the Super Bowl with the Giants and the Patriots a couple years ago using the helmet, right? But tremendous athletic ability to go up and haul that ball in. East Central has to like what they're seeing out of their team so far.
Offensively, they've been exploding so far, and we wondered which East Central team would show up, and it's good signs right now that the one they wanted to, at least East Central wanted to. And here's a run up the middle.
Yeah.
Rosemeyer again looking for the touchdown, still up, and they will say he stopped forward progress just short of the goal line. Rosemeyer gets in there and really pushes his way through, and it's hard for Harrison to get him down.
Again, I talked about on the last possession for East Central, the nice second effort by the runners. This time it was a little bit of patience, letting that blocking develop ahead of him, and then lowering the shoulder and bullying his way closer to that end zone. And as you said, looks to be about 2.5 yards shy of pay dirt.
So second and goal here, 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Maxwell will line up for the snap. And it's going to be a sneak, quarterback sneak. Yep. Maxwell in, and I believe he got in the end zone.
And no indication
like he
yet,
got over the goal line.
But it looked like it from here. We'll see what the referee says when they sort the bodies out at the bottom of the scrum. He's going to be short.
Yes, he's down. Look from our vantage point that he maybe got over on the quarterback sneak. They at least gained a pretty good yardage, and I think that ball is going to be right at the 1.
Boy, you can see on the replay, our camera is just about right above where we're sitting in the press box, and from that angle, it looks like he got in, but we're not sitting directly across from the football like the officials are on the goal line.
5 seconds to go in the first quarter. The team's clearing off the field, though.
They're going to call it the end of the quarter?
I guess so.
Yeah. I think Harrison just said they're going to let it run out.
Alrighty. So they say to run it out. So after quarter number 1 here at energetic Bill Coons Field in Harrison, it is the Wildcats 7 and the East Central Trojans 7. Back with the second after this.
I love you so. I love you. I love you. La 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 la. La 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at...
Back from the break there, that was Jake Fike on the run for East Central. You may have just missed that. He kind of pushed through and the line stopped him and impeded his progress. as you may have seen there. So now it is East Central with a 4th down and goal, and they are outside the 5-yard line. Looks to be there right on the 7.
Pat, we knew East Central was going to grind this game out on the ground. 13 rushes for 50 yards, just 5 rushing yards for Harrison, but 91 through the air. Key stat, though, East Central 0-2 on 3rd down conversions.
So 4th down, they're going to go for it. Maxwell here will keep it, try to go through the middle, and he will get in there, maybe.
Again, we switch sides of the field, so we've got a bad angle. But
they're going to say he's down. Clock stops, and that's going to be a major 4th down stop for Harrison, as they will not let East Central take advantage of the interception.
Well, that's pretty interesting right there. Looked like Maxwell danced around waiting for that hole to materialize. Found one he could dive through, but as you said, Harrison bends but does not break and keep the Trojans out of the end zone.
That ball is marked about as close as you can get to not becoming a touchdown. Right there on the goal line. So there's a big stop for Harrison, and their momentum will feed off of that here. But the downside of that is the ball will be marked right in their own backyard, as Kennett will have to begin the drive at his own end zone here. So you got to watch out for the East Central pressure, especially their secondary as well. If they can intercept one and return it at this end of the field. Kennett will take the snap. Quick slant route to the near side, and that will be a flag. Trying to go there to number 80, Brent Reinstadler.
Well, from my vantage point, it looked like the receiver and the quarterback weren't on the same page there, but unfortunately, the East Central defender got there a little bit early, drawing that flag with the contact. Let's go back and take a look at the stop on the replay there. There you see Maxwell has a nice hole developed, but then all of a sudden the Harrison defender releases from that block and dives low to stop Maxwell from getting into the end zone. Very good job by the Harrison defense.
So Harrison here will get the 15-yard penalty, so that'll help push him down the field a little bit.
Yeah, get him out of the shadow of their own end zone.
Yeah, Kennett now will be standing at his own 10-yard line instead of the back line, and he will look for the snap here. Quick handoff play to number 20, and that will be Jacob Reardon.
Teaming up on the tackle is Donalworth, R. Donalworth, and Nathan Griffin, number 44. 2nd and 5 for Harrison.
10:40 to go here in the second quarter now.
Harrison wants to get that ground game running a little bit to eat a little clock. Decided time of advantage possession by over a minute in the first quarter. Again, some confusion now. Play call is going to be changed from the sideline. Formation is going to alter slightly.
3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Kennett will hand off to the man right next to him.
Yep, misdirection play works when your offensive line are able to explode off the line of scrimmage, and that didn't really happen that time. There was just not a whole lot of room for him to go on that misdirection.
Looks like Reardon got the ball again on that carry, and that sets up a 3rd down and 5 for the Wildcats. Ball on their own 21.
Well, now decision time for Harrison. They were 2 of 3 on their 3rd down conversions in the opening quarter. They're going to try to get just the 1st down, or are they going to go over top with that explosive offense?
Still running off more clock as now Kennett is snapping the strap. Looks like the chin strap on Reardon's helmet, and that's going to warrant a timeout here. Maybe Harrison had to call it. And now they're down to 1 in this half. Was some equipment issues to blame for that one, Glenn.
Yeah, they definitely want to make sure they keep Reardon out on the field and not lose him to something as minor as an equipment issue, as minor but as major. Coming into this game, Reardon 14 carries for 50 yards. He was averaging just about 3.5 yards a carry with a long of 13, but so far just 1 of 1 after the first quarter. So he's the guy they're going to go to, and there you see Reardon's name up on the screen with the Harrison offense.
They targeted Reinstadler a lot tonight, seeing a little bit of C.J. Young, a little bit of Chase Fett, and then the offensive line listed there.
Yeah, a lot of weapons for Harrison, and again, just crazy yards. Their 1st overall in the SWAC overall offense, 547 yards they put up last week against an overmatched Butler team in that 42-19 victory.
3rd and 5 here after the short timeout. East Central with 3 left in this half. Harrison only has a 1. 9:34 to go in the second quarter. Kinnett with an empty backfield, rolls far side. He's in trouble, and he is going to get sacked.
Yep.
And big time, back to the 10-yard line. That's going to be a loss of at least 10 yards. And that is a big downer for the Harrison Wildcats as it sets up a 4th and long.
Yeah, that was Brett Fox. You're going to see East Central was showing pressure. There's one lineman cuts through, but Fox comes in with another mugging play. Excuse me, that was number 5. Kyle Crumman, excuse me.
We saw him made a big play earlier with the big hit.
Punt time for the Wildcats. Back deep, but it's hardly deep for East Central at just inside the 50-yard line. They're going to let that one roll and take a Wildcat bounce.
Measle got it off from about the goal line. That's going to be a touch up there at the 39-yard line. So they will push East Central back into their own territory. It looks like they're going to start there with 8:47 to go in this first quarter.
You know, it's just always hard to judge the quality of an opponent when they come across state lines. Obviously, East Central was a 4A state champion in the state of Indiana last year. They lose some players to graduation, lose their head coach who went to Noblesville, Indiana, Roden. But we saw or read about as we were prepping for the game, East Central, got all they wanted out of a rebuilding Oak Hills team in the Greater Miami Conference last week after blasting Lawrenceburg in week 1. So I think this East Central team may be a little better than you might think after that close loss to Oak Hills last week.
Definitely seeing a very strong performance from them tonight as Maxwell here will keep this one for a run on a gain of about 3. Harrison, a pretty strong team in the SWAC as well, and we look at them, and Edgewood usually come out on top in that conference, and some other rising teams as well, like you mentioned, Little Miami is up and coming with their 3rd-year head coach in the Open.
And as well as Mount Healthy, another one of our ICRC communities, and won every league title in the SWAC up until 2 years ago. Good football over here in the SWAC for sure.
A lot of rural communities on this part of Southwest Ohio. There's that one, another quick run up the middle as well. And not to be a homer here, Glenn, but I think you have to mention Talawanda as well in the SWAC. It's a team that's up and coming, more experienced. A lot of underclassmen started for them last year. They're playing at Baden this week. A huge win over Preble Shawnee last week on the road for them. So that's a team to watch. Maybe not this year, but definitely next year and possibly down the road.
Well, Coach J.D. Vonderheid's trying to build that culture up there in the Braves program and starting to see some results of that this year based on week 1 action last week.
Worked pretty hard towards it. 3rd and 4. This is a run, and that will be a long one for Rosemeyer. He's down the far side, beats the man, and he's gone for an East Central touchdown. A big play for Rosemeyer. It came from Harrison territory, and it is now a 13-7 lead for East Central.
Max Boyle was in pursuit, as you're going to see on the replay here. You see Rosemeyer gets the edge, and that's Boyle in pursuit, but watch the separation here as we get close to the end zone. Boyle just can't get there. And Rosemeyer walks into the end zone untouched. Great touchdown run for the East Central Trojans.
Brown Dyke on again for an extra point. He's 1 for 1 tonight. 9 for 9 this season. And that kick will be right down the middle. 14-7 game, 7:22 to go here in this second quarter. And East Central with another big scoring play there, Glenn, to get their side pumped up again.
Yeah, as I said, during that possession, I think East Central's a little better than we might think after the game against Oak Hills last week, and they proved it right there. They do have a lot of young men on this team that can run the football. Their offensive line is doing a good job. They obviously have a capable kicker who's perfect on the season on his extra point attempts so far. They're making good decisions on the field other than the penalty on the very first offensive play of the game for Harrison. So this is going to be a great game, and it's what a rivalry game should be. I'm expecting Harrison to come back and answer on this possession.
Mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us, the last 3 games between these two teams in the last 3 years have both been, or all 3 of them have been decided by 3 points or less in that time. And last year's game went to overtime, like we said earlier on. So we will see Brown Dyke place the ball on the tee here. and take a step back. Harrison trying to answer. They're looking to get their ground game back up again with 7:22 to go in half number 1.
Yeah, I don't think they want to fall behind 2 scores here. They definitely want to get points on this possession.
Another long kick that goes out the back of the end zone this time, and that will begin the drive for Harrison with a touchback.
I guess obviously the goal of every offensive possession is to score points. But what I was trying to convey is there has to be a sense of urgency. Obviously there's a lot of football left to play, but you don't want to get down 2 possessions in this game to the East Central team with all the weapons that they've displayed so far. You want to try to get this back to a tie or 1 possession, a little bit closer 1 possession game.
See if head coach Derek Rehage could get his team fired up on the sideline. Rehage is an East Central alum himself. Played Division I football up the road at Miami.
And did play professionally in NFL Europe and had a tryout with the Pittsburgh Steelers before experiencing an injury and being cut before training camp completed. So brings a lot of football experience, to your point.
Kinnan here with the empty backfield and more confusion for this Harrison offense. 2 receivers on either side.
Well, I just wonder if East Central's not showing Harrison something different on defensively than what they've seen on film.
Kinnan will try to find some room, and he will be tackled from behind. There's another big one from Kyle Crumman, who comes up big on defense tonight for another time, and this is another sack that Harrison has got to eliminate.
Well, he had all kinds of room in front of him. Problem was he had 0 room behind him with that defender closing in on him, as you're going to see on the replay here. He steps up away from the pressure, but the linemen or the offensive players couldn't hold their block, and there comes that Maverick Crumman through with that long flowing blonde hair, just wreaking all kinds of havoc in the offensive backfield for the Wildcats tonight.
Second down at 12. Kinnan now with Reardon, looks like directly to his right. And 3 receivers to the left and 1 on the right side.
Lucky that was just a loss of 2.
Yeah.
And there's Crumman coming in from the right side of that formation untouched again. And boy, he gets back there quick. You saw him hop in after it was all said and done there. But Harrison's got to make an adjustment to get a body on him and not let him roam free through that offensive backfield. And again, wreaking that havoc.
Didn't really see his name come up in a lot of stuff we read about East Central this week. So he is definitely a breakthrough player that we didn't see coming. And Harrison now is going to have to figure him out.
Yeah, a lot to like, obviously. He's got good football instincts, good speed, good strength, and pretty nasty disposition out on the football field. Coming in from that right defensive end position.
Aimed right at the quarterback. Gets a block, though. Kinnan will throw, and this is going to be too hard to the near sideline.
Well, I don't know if we'll see it on the replay, but Harrison decided to chip him and put a blocker on Crumman that time. He still broke through that and got a shove in on Kennett at the end of the play, as you're going to see here. Not necessarily a chip, he double teamed him, but then there you see him come in and took a shot at Kennett at the end of the play. So even with 2 guys blocking him, he's causing problems out there defensively.
4th down and 9. Max beats the lot for another Harrison punt. They didn't really gain too many yards on that drive. That's a pretty good punt. That one almost blocked.
It sure was. It's going to be fielded at the 41, but going backwards, unfortunately.
Good tackle on Donworth, who cannot get a return out of that one, but that punt could have been in the end zone or a little bit near it, because a near block there from the East Central special teams.
Boy, they're, I think it's fair to say, we said this a lot last week in our game, talking about Milford and their struggles, the battle of the trenches. We're seeing Harrison, another one of our community schools, struggle in that battle in the trenches so far, Patrick. They're going to have to make some adjustments here at halftime to give their quarterback, Kennett, some more room and more time to work with to get their offensive game back on schedule.
So a lot of work needs to be done there on the Harrison sideline. Meanwhile, here's Rosemeyer trudging his way through near midfield for another modest gain on a run play from East Central.
Again, not to keep singing the praises, but the offensive line for East Central is just doing a tremendous job of getting that initial burst off the snap, and their ball carriers are doing a good job of showing patience, waiting for those holes and gaps to develop.
2nd and 5 is Aldo Market, ball on the 47-yard line. Rosemeyer again the target, and he'll push his way through for a first down. That's a great run from Rosemeyer on his second effort, and he will push into Harrison territory, and they will move the chains.
Yeah, and again, said that back in the first quarter. You really have to like the second effort that the Trojans are showing with their ball carriers tonight, and that was a prime example right there, as you're going to see on this replay. Nice lead block up the middle by the offensive line, and Maxwell was there to open things up a little more, and then Rosemeyer takes 2 or 3 Wildcat defenders with him.
Third pitch out to him, third straight run. Short again this time as the Harrison defense comes up bigger, as number 46 for Harrison, that will be Simon Shirley on the tackle.
Rosemeyer, just a big player. I think he goes without saying. You saw he stands out there on the offensive formation. He's listed at 6'3", 206, so pretty formidable body to bring down. It's going to be a big challenge for the Wildcat defense tonight.
And we've seen him near the goal line too, push through all those bodies there to try to get to the end zone.
Yep, now he's going to go in motion. Ball's going to move away from him, though. Nice misdirection play.
This is Jake Fike, and he will nearly get past the tackle. That's a good one, though, by Blake Cox of Harrison, just by the shoestring. And Cox will shake it up after that play, but that's a tackle that saves a touchdown.
Sure was, because he was off to the races heading down that near sideline. And again, great misdirection play. We've seen a steady dose of going to the left. Well, now they fake it to the left, come back to the right. Nice stiff arm there, gets away from one defender. And then there you see coming in with the diving tackle, Blake Cox. He probably took a cleat to the chest, may have just knocked the wind out of him. I'm sure we'll see him back if he's not still out there.
Ball marked at the 17-yard line on 1st and 10 for East Central. Trying to take a 2-possession lead in this game. Didn't quite see who had the ball there as they charged up the middle. Could have been Rosemeyer again.
Nope, different ball carrier that time. Number 45 on the carry. That's Nathan Griffin. So Maxwell looked like he was going to roll right, but the ball went right up the gut, so to speak, on that gap between the center and left tackle, I believe it was.
Griffin, one attempt for 5 yards last week on the ground for East Central.
He's had a couple carries tonight, so East Central definitely spreading the wealth, so to speak. There's Rosemeyer with the carry.
On 2nd and 7, able to charge his way through and will be just short of that first down marker, but sets up a very manageable 3rd down play for East Central as they're now inside the 10-yard line.
Rosemeyer doing a good job lining up, and I guess what you'd call that H-back position on the right side of the formation. He'll either go in motion or move at the snap and come across and then try the left side. Be interesting to see if they start to mix that up a little bit to give them a little different look at this Harrison defense. Or for this Harrison defense, I should say.
3rd down and 2 is how they'll mark it with the ball on the 9. They're taking their time here. 2:25 it counted to go in this first half. 14-7 lead for East Central.
This game is flying now. We're not going to have one of those 3-hour deals like we had last week.
Last week, pretty sure the first half lasted an hour and a half, and I'm pretty sure the Mason game was done before we reached halftime.
Yeah, I think the Mason game, the crew said went an hour 40, an hour 50, and we were at halftime.
As East Central here will burn their first time out of the half.
20 penalties will do that to you, right?
I think so.
20 penalties and a lot of passing action we saw in that game last week. And just scrolling through Twitter here during breaks in the action, we've seen some of our ICRC communities. Milford went up early against Dixie Heights. Princeton was up huge on Withrow in the early going. Big game in town tonight, of course, is with our friends over at Coleraine, or Waycross Media, Coleraine and LaSalle. Not sure if they're covering, Coleraine and St. X, excuse me, not sure if they're covering that tonight, but definitely their geography over there. So that's the one everybody's talking about tonight.
It's a very big matchup. That's where all the local media are.
Yeah. Not us, we're here.
In Harrison.
Love it.
But it's a good game. Interstate rivalry. Can't really say that much in high school football. East Central and Harrison, these two teams separated by 14 miles. They play each other once a year at the beginning of the season.
It's always interesting the impact that has on the Harbin points.
That's a good point, as this one is another short run. They'll get the first down, though.
Yeah, that was Fike, sophomore running back.
Sun beginning to set here at Bill Coots Field in Harrison. The humidity still very visible on the horizon. No dark clouds, that's the good news.
And then our press box window. It's all right.
Football Friday. It's going to be hot, cold. We're thrilled to be here.
We'll take it. So first and goal here at the 5-yard line. Inside 2 minutes to go in quarter number 2. East Central with a chance here to go up by 2 possessions. Little run play here. This is going to be a touchdown.
Nicholas Griffin, as we talked about, he's had a few carries tonight. Really hadn't put up a lot in the way of statistics going in to tonight's game, but definitely having impact tonight, Patrick. They're spreading the ball around, and there you see a good shot at Griffin. He's 5'11", 190 pounds. He's a little ball of fire to try to bring down, especially in close quarters.
It'll be his first touchdown of the year, and this will be a 20-7 game, barring the extra point from Brown Dyke as he's ready to go and lined up. And we'll put it through again to remain perfect on the season. 21-7 your score now with 1:40 left, and that is a big downer on Harrison.
Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown play. Just really a no-doubter for Griffin, making his way into the end zone over that left tackle. But kind of funny on that extra point attempt. I was just getting ready to say there wasn't much of a push by Harrison, and 2 defenders came up over the center, barreling through, not near in time to make an impact on the kick, but just kind of stopped me in my tracks what I was getting ready to say.
So 1:40 to go here in quarter number 2, Glenn. Harrison will get the football back, and this could be possibly, you could say, a must-score situation for them going into halftime.
Yeah, 21-7. As I said, you don't want to get down 2 possessions. Well, they've done that. Now they've got 1 minute and 40 seconds. We know they're capable of getting big chunks of yards in a very short amount of time. It's just going to be a matter of getting the right play call in and the right personnel in against a very stout East Central defense so far. We'll be very curious to see the separation in total yards on our halftime statistics when we come back before the third quarter.
Brown Dyke places the ball on the kicking tee. 2 men back for Harrison, and we will get the kick here shortly. They need a big return, but we'll see if Brown Dyke will just boot one again up past the end zone. Looks like it's going to be short this time. Nope, never mind, bounces through.
Well, again, Harrison electing that ball to let that ball go into the end zone for the automatic touchback. Definitely could be fielded, but why take a chance of making your task even harder? Let's just make it 80 yards instead of 15 or 16 or something like that, right? So now it's time for us to see what Mr. Kennett has in that powerful arm of his. He's going to need a couple of big pass plays or a surprise running play, I think, to get down into the red zone here in a hurry.
Had some trouble trying to complete some passes the past few possessions. As the Harrison offense will trot on the field, they've also been confused a lot of times tonight as far as the formation or what play is going to happen. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Get it with a man to his right directly. Looks like that's Reardon in the running back position. Kennett will pass, looks over the middle, fires one, and there's a completion on a bullet to Levi Tidwell.
That's the play you needed. Get something down in the middle of the field when East Central was thinking sidelines to get out of bounds as the clock continues to move, other than stopping for the chains to reset. The problem is you've burnt 2 timeouts.
Kennett here with another pass, and that one dropped right into the hands of Jace Fett, but he will drop that one as 2 East Central players came right in on him, a little bit shaken up after the play, and that will be 2nd and 10, but stops the clock with $1:21 to go in the half.
Fett, of course, the hero from this game last year, scoring that touchdown in overtime off the Frankie Young pass to win the game. Trying to get this down to a 1-possession game here before the half. And again, it's going to be interesting to see how East Central responds. We've had 2 pass plays in the middle of the field now. Are they going to come off that man coverage on the corners and go more zone in the middle of the field? That's what it's looking like they're going to do.
Kennett will go to the sideline. There's a completion, and that will be a short run after the catch, too, by Tidwell, and he will be just short of the first-down marker, passed out of bounds.
Yeah, it's going to be 1.5 yards, 2 yards shy, but he did get out of bounds to save some clock, so good heads-up move there.
So a 3rd down here at 2 on the gain of 8. 1:13 to go with the clock stopped here in the second quarter.
Great shot of the Harrison student section there in their blackout tonight.
East Central had a whiteout too. That just shows the rivalry between these teams.
Uh-oh, misdirection.
That is Reardon, who's had a few big runs tonight. They able to collect some yards there on the far side of the field into East Central territory. The clock moving, and they will stop it for a first down with 1:08 left.
But that's only going to stop for a few seconds. Harrison's got to show a little more sense of urgency here and try to get tempo going in this game. Now it looks like they finally will do so as the chains are set.
Didn't waste many seconds on that one, lined up pretty quickly. Kinnett now will drop back. Another bullet to the middle. Ryan Statler holds on to that one inside the 40-yard line. Didn't get quite enough to move the chains.
Now Harrison's going to take their third and final timeout of the half after that completion near the near hash.
56 seconds to go in the half, and the ball will be spotted at the 39-yard line. So Harrison now without timeouts, and East Central has 2 to go in a 21-7 game.
Yeah, good protection that time for Canada, as you saw in the replay, as obviously East Central is not bringing as much pressure, trying to fill up that zone defense in the back of the field, anticipating those passes. And what Harrison has to do in these timeouts is get a couple plays scripted and assume they're all going to be successful, because now you're out of timeouts. And we're down to 56 seconds.
Got to rely on a play out of bounds or a first down to stop the clock.
Yeah, no doubt. And everybody's got to know what the play is. We get the big pass play, then boom, we're going to go to this.
Yep.
We're going to snap off the short running play and then try to soften them up and go for the big pass. So everybody's got to be on the same page here as to what the game plan is. But definitely, want to talk about we're going to do this and then we're going to do this. So everybody knows there's no standing around and looking over to get the play in from the sideline. You know what's going to happen. And it's really those big guys in the middle that have to get there and get set in a hurry.
Kennett takes a snap, looks for another pass. Has a lot of room though. He's going to keep this one, but can't get as much as he maybe thought he could. Bounced off a defender there, but only going to be able to pick up about 2 and no way to stop the clock. As some confusion now in the chain gang as well. They're going to say move the chains. They didn't get a first down. The clock rather stopped. So is the ball at 50 seconds.
Yeah, all kinds of confusion over on the far sideline.
Now they run it. Kinnett. Another bullet over the middle. There's a catch. And that one is caught, and a few more steps in as well for Levi Tidwell. He's now down to the 20-yard line, and they've hit the red zone with 40 left.
Donaldworth with the stop. But again, Harrison having a lot of luck. Kinnett doing a good job stepping up away from the pressure, firing bullets through those passing lanes. And Harrison did a good job offensively of getting down and getting set, forcing East Central to burn their second timeout of the half. So East Central didn't want to do that, but they know Harrison's got some momentum on their side now. They want to talk it over, make sure they've got the right personnel on the field and they're all on the same page defensively. To use that cliche again, make sure they're prepared for what Harrison throws at them. Watch Kinnett here. Nice job stepping up away from the pressure, plants that foot and fires a dart to that crossing receiver. Outstanding job by the Harrison offense on that play.
That timeout could help too, bring them together on the same page. We've seen that play a few times tonight, but the execution has been off.
Yeah, we've called Tidwell's number a couple times tonight, and he hauls one in there. Came into this game, 6 grabs, I believe, for 113 yards. A pair of touchdowns, so he's definitely a pair of hands you want to keep an eye on. As Kinnett looks to get one into the end zone here with 37 seconds left.
There it's Steve Cusera, the offensive line coach for Harrison. So 37 seconds to go. Kinnett, look in that zone. There's a catch, and they got it in.
Tremendous athletic ability displayed by C.J. Young there as he had to go upstairs a little bit to bring that football in. The throw was right on the money from Kinnett. The protection held up. Just an outstanding touchdown drive by Harrison, doing what we said they needed to do, getting us down to a one-possession game before the half.
C.J. Young coming up big there, and yep, like you said, Glenn, exactly what they had to do. Far sink for the extra point. Right down the middle, and this game is now back to 7 points, 21-14, and East Central lead, and that's going to help Harrison a lot going into halftime, needless to say.
Yeah, if you're Derek Rehage, the head coach, and Matt Sherwood, your offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, you really have to like what you saw out of your offense on that last possession. Everyone knew what the plan was,
They hustled, they responded quickly. There wasn't, a lack of a sense of urgency being displayed, especially on the back end of that drive. They did what they needed to do. The timeout was well utilized. As you remember, we questioned whether they needed to call that one that early, but it got them a chance to get together for a couple plays, and they capitalized on both of those plays, got down into the red zone and punched it in.
Probably the best or the most well-executed drive for Harrison offensively there in that drive.
Yeah, I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
They really performed well with that 2-minute drill, so to speak.
So now 31 seconds for East Central, and now the ball will flip, and Harrison does not want to allow a big play here for another 2-possession lead as the ball will be placed off the tee, and we will see Farfsing kick it off again. Donnerworth is back deep for East Central there on the far side of the sideline.
I got a feeling we're going to see a squibber down the middle.
Good call. Gets past everybody, fielded by Donnerworth after the third hop. Comes here up the middle, and will try to go to the near side. Tripped up there, though, by a couple of Wildcats, and he will get down past the 30-yard line. Make the final tackle for Harrison was number 51, Drake Swango, the 5'10", 220 sophomore lineman, and he seems a bit shaken up walking off the sideline on that play.
Donnerworth is just a hair off of breaking one. If he can get a half a second better start, I think you're going to see him find a hole and get through it before it's over tonight. He is just so explosive on these kick return plays, and it's really desperation tackles in a sense that is keeping him from breaking through and taking one to the house. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see that happen tonight.
I've seen a lot already on the offensive side of things for both of these teams. Maxwell with a keep here, and he's going to get some room up the middle, now at the far sideline, and they're going to have to chase him down the sideline, and he will get out of bounds just inside the 40-yard line. They'll push into Harrison territory, and that's a run that Harrison does not want to give up.
Well, no, it gave up a ton of yards there, 35 or so yards on one play, and giving them a relatively short, field to work with to begin with. Well, not terribly short, but you make plays like that, it's going to make for a short field.
Stops the clock as well, only 13 ticks left on it. And they will set up here in the same formation.
It's the downside of those squibs. You give them a little better field position.
First and 10 from the 41. Maxwell will pass, and there is a catch. Trying to go there along the far sideline with Stutter.
Yeah, Max Stutter, great job. Second effort, you saw him try to spin out of that tackle and get out of bounds to stop the clock. So East Central is going to have at least one more play. I think that's all they're going to have time to get off, considering the ball spotted on the 36-yard line of the Wildcats. So I would think we're going to see Max protect and fire to the end zone.
.36 yards to go. And they've got 3 receivers right, pretty close to each other, one to the left.
And no Max protect, though. There it
There's
is.
A long one. It's going to be short, and let's see who came down with it. Looks like a tussle right now between a player from either team. That's going to be an interception.
Yeah, sure is.
Right at the half. Harrison won't be able to take the ball, but
that's number 7, Heimkreider. Pass was intended for Tyler Carr, but Heimkreider comes away with it.
So there's a good play to at least stop what could have been a touchdown for the Wildcats. And we have reached halftime here. It is 21-14. East Central on top on the road here in this rivalry game. So halftime here from Bill Cootsfield and Harrison, and we will be back with the second half action. Should be a good one right after this on ICRC-TV.
We're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
I tried Oxy at a couple of parties. I didn't know it'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, my circumstances dictate who I was gonna become. And all of that determination, the commitment, the drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent, like me.
Back here at Bill Koontz Field in Harrison, Ohio. Glenn Olson, Patrick Geshing with you here on ICRC-TV. A pretty action-packed first half. 21-14, the lead for East Central as we go into the second half. And Glenn, you have the stat sheet. It stands out to you.
Courtesy of the Harrison Stats crew, we appreciate that. Obviously, East Central's dominating the game on the ground. 195 rushing yards, just 3 net yards for Harrison. Passing yards, just 58 for the Trojans, 160 for the Wildcats. When you look at the total yards, 253 on 31 plays for East Central, 163 on 25 plays for the Wildcats. Time of possession obviously in favor of the Trojans, 14:08 to 9:52 with that running attack. Interestingly, on third down, East Central just 2 of 5 on conversions, Harrison 3 of 6. So both teams in that middle of the road category, but East Central has converted 1 of their 2 fourth down opportunities. Jacob Reardon leading the way rushing for the Wildcats with 16 yards. And, of course, it's Derek Rosemeyer for East Central, 107. Jake Fike with 43. Connor Kennett is 9 of 15 passing. The 1 interception that we saw, 2 touchdown passes, 160 yards through the air, and most of those going to Levi Tidwell, 6 grabs for 118 yards. He's had 1 each to Young, Reardon, Ryan Statler as well. So that's the tail of the tape according to the stat sheet, Pat.
Sounds good. So we'll get the second half festivities underway. A lot of the crowd still remaining here for this good one. It is really packed in all areas of the stands, but East Central especially, their entire side is just full of people, and then they got more in the corner, kind of around their stands. That is a onside attempt. And we will see where the ball goes. Harrison will recover it.
He's going to get, there's still a struggle at the bottom of the pile, but the official has made the ruling.
Well,
number 2 for the Wildcats.
Blake Cox.
Yep.
The junior defensive back. We had no idea that that was going to happen. Didn't even expect it. And the Wildcats catch East Central by surprise. A huge gamble there that will pay off. And they will start with the ball here to begin the second half.
Well, Patrick, you've got to like that call from this perspective. Harrison had a ton of momentum going into the halftime locker room with the long touchdown drive in a pretty short amount of time at the end of the second half. So why not keep momentum going, come out and maybe see if you can keep East Central napping and recover that onside kick. Great job by Harrison Special Teams.
And they will get even more after that as well. 3 receivers right, one to the left, Kennett with a man next to him. That's Reardon, and he's in trouble early on. Nearly tripped there, has some room along the far end. Nobody open, over the middle. That pass will be, I'm going to say, complete, I believe.
Living dangerously, threw that one into traffic.
Levi Tidwell with a reception. That one right along the ground, and it picks up 9.
Well, it's been his favorite target, as I just said. That'll be grab number 7 on the night for Tidwell. Let's see if East Central's figured that out and decides to change coverage on him.
Same formation, opposite sides of the field. Reardon gets the handoff here for Kennett, and he will be stopped right at the first down line. And they will say he did not quite get there. Pickup of about a half yard there, and this will be a third down and short for the Wildcats coming up.
You see Kennett doing a nice job of getting away. That was the pass completion on the play before. Did a really good job of sidestepping that pressure, but a little bit of a dangerous throw, as I said.
3 wide left, 1 to the right. And some movement. Kennett was pointing to the East Central defensive side, and the flag came out after that. And that's going to be a successful attempt for Harrison to catch the Trojans off on the defensive line and moves the chains for 5 free yards. Kennett pointed, and then the official threw his flag after some movement there on the East Central side of things. Same formation. Kinnett back for the pass. They're on him quickly, no room to go, and there's Crumman right behind him again with another sack, and that's going to be a loss for the Wildcats. Crumman got away from his blocker and came right behind and able to get Kinnett there on the sack.
Yeah, Crumman has just been a defensive force, as we've talked about tonight. Don't have any defensive stats that we can bring to you, but needless to say, he's been a force.
Like the hair, too. Comes out of his helmet.
Better than that mop thing that was in a few years ago, right?
Yeah. 3 wide left, 1 to the right. Kinnett back, another pass, slant route. This time it's over the middle. There's the completion. And that is right over the middle to Tidwell.
It's a security blanket. And East Central will not adjust their coverage to try to chip him at the line or anything. You know, in that area where you're allowed to have contact off the line of scrimmage. We're going to have to do something to slow him down because he alone is eating up this East Central defense tonight on the pass plays.
6 receptions, 113 yards coming into this one. And that was what he got in last week's game against Butler on this field.
So you see him just at the bottom of your screen. It's a bunch formation, and he's on the inside of that bunch.
Kinnett dodges Crumman. Crumman comes back again. Still can't get him. And there is a great run by Kinnett using that athleticism on his feet, and he's able to create a first down out of it. Crumman came out twice that time. He couldn't grab him.
Kinnett with all kinds of confidence in this game right now. Again, after that drive in the second quarter, now coming out here, riding the wave of the special teams momentum and just making the magic happen on the field with his feet and with his arm.
3 minutes in here to this third quarter. It's a 21-14 lead for the Wildcat, or for East Central rather. Here's a quick screen pass to the near side. That one is complete to number 14, Jace Fett, 6'4", 200 senior, who we've called his name a lot tonight. And they'll gain about 1 yard from it.
Just a quick dump off play and just not a lot of room at the end of it. Try to get something at it, get the extra yards after catch. But hey, positive momentum, forward momentum. We'll take it however you can get it.
Harrison charging up the field here in this drive. Ball on the left hash. 1 receiver to the near side, 2 to the far side.
It's Tidwell
and in motion. Yep.
That's Tidwell.
Tidwell will become a receiver. Kinnett is looking right at him, but Crumman came in from behind and will spin him around and bring him down. That's a great play for Crumman, as they were clearly looking for Tidwell there on the far side. Couldn't get separation or open. And this sets up a 3rd down and long.
You know, Crumman's just a junior, playing like a wily veteran. But I'll tell you, I don't know if he's got the size or if he'll grow anymore. He's listed at 5'9", 158, so probably not a D1 prospect. But there's got to be a D2, D3 NAIA school out there that's going to love what they see of this kid on tape. He's just got a relentless motor, Patrick.
He's been on basically a big part of every defensive play so far tonight. Kinnett, collapsing pocket, over the middle there, incomplete. And there was coming across, that was C.J. Young.
Yeah, tried to force that one into Young. There was a little bit of pressure. And I think he threw that ball and he didn't really want to.
So this sets up a 4th down and 10 from the 18-yard line.
Hey.
They're going to go for a field goal here, Glenn.
Well, okay, but look out for a fake here, though, because this is still long in the high school game for a field goal. But Farfsing is a heck of a kicker. We've seen him kick for a few years.
Perfect on extra points this year, has yet to attempt an actual field goal. So let's see what happens. They're going to actually attempt it. This one will get through. Or nope, never mind. Yep, they said it went through.
Yeah, I thought it went wide left. Hate that angle from up there.
Hard to tell from our angle, Glenn. We'll have to wait for the official.
Sorry about that,
Farfsing.
You're
good.
It was a great kick. Great kick. Hate to take that away from you. I thought he hooked it.
That one came from the 18-yard line, so that's, what, about a 30-yard kick or so.
Yeah, 18-28 from where he kicked at 35.
So that will give Harrison 3 extra points, make this a 4-point game, 7:31 to go in the third quarter. So there's a drive, Glenn, where Harrison takes advantage of the onside kick. They grab some momentum, and the field goal, they wanted a touchdown, obviously, but the field goal still points on the board.
We talked, you know, back in the second quarter, Harrison wanted to make this a one-possession game at the half on that last drive, which they did. Now they come out here and chip away at that lead a little bit. An unbalanced score now. The first 3 points we've seen of the night. We haven't seen any 2-point conversion with these 2 kickers, right, that are so good.
Yep.
And there you see Farfsing kick his first field goal of the year. So, yeah, just a great great job of seizing momentum in the second quarter and carrying it over here to the third by the Wildcats, getting this game a little bit closer.
First field goal of the season as well for Farf Singh, who sets it up on the tee and raises the arm to kick it away.
High kick.
Very short as well. And that's going to bounce far side.
Did they get it?
I don't know. He could have been out of bounds too. They're going to give it to East Central, it appears.
Well,
that was very close.
Well, that's an adjustment by the Harrison staff, obviously. You see the needed onside kick on the first kick. Well, now they come back and they're going to try to keep that away from Donnerworth, who we've talked about has been pretty close to breaking one tonight, so they're going to live dangerously over on the sideline.
Looks like the man coming in there did drop it. Looked like number 5, Max Boyle, maybe.
He touched it before a defender did, right? Is that?
I believe so. Nonetheless, East Central here will start at the 35-yard line, and this will be a run from number 14, Rosemeyer, who we've seen a lot tonight.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a steady dose of Rosemeyer on this next drive, to be honest with you, because he's the one that jumps off the stat sheet at you for the first half of East Central. Maxwell's been doing an admirable job at quarterback, but Rosemeyer's the one picking up the big chunks of yards when they need it. And you'll see him right there, number 14, lined up in that H-back position.
Very interesting formation on the line for East Central. Here's a run there by Jake Fike, and he will pick up a couple more on that one to set up a third down and 5 or so.
Yeah, Rosemeyer's listed as a running back.
Pretty versatile in all positions, though.
So you heard our PA announcer was Sam Stroud leading the way on that tackle. He's wearing jersey number 44 for Harrison.
A little bit of trouble setting up on the defensive line for the Wildcats. Maxwell here rolling near side, man behind him, and there's a completed catch to the big tight end. That would be number 85, Casey McQueen. Have not seen him yet tonight.
That's actually Luke Collinsworth. Yep. Yeah, he's 6'6", 280. There's a lot of duplicate numbers on this East Central roster, so we did it earlier too with Rosemeyer, but yeah, that's Collinsworth, the 6'6", 280-pound tight end and defensive lineman.
My apologies there, 6'6", 280 like you mentioned, and that's the guy we haven't seen a whole lot of tonight. Just came out of the middle of nowhere to make that catch with 6 to go in the third. East Central offensively threatening here in the Harrison territory with that grab.
Yeah, only one other catch coming into this game tonight.
Here's
there you see Rosemeyer, yeah.
Another big run. Can he get past Cox? And Cox will just be able to push him out of bounds.
Boy, Cox has his hands full with Rosemeyer tonight. Cox is slow to get up over there.
That's a great defensive play, but Rosemeyer does some damage to get him deep.
Again, that same thing. He comes across the formation, gets the left edge. You're going to see a stiff arm come in here before he's finally wrangled out of bounds.
So now East Central with the run attack again. One play on the pass gets him into Harrison territory, and then a long run there by Rosemeyer. 4-point lead for the Trojans. And they're on the 7-yard line here for a 1st and goal. The majority of the East Central side is standing, even outside of the student section. Here's a run play. This is Fike, and he's going to find the angle along the near side for the touchdown.
Untouched. Rosemeyer went in formation, as we've seen all night, from the right to the left. Fike comes from the left side, carts it into the house untouched.
Now a 10-point lead for the East Central Trojans, 27-17, barring the extra point.
Is that a reverse? Did they hand that off to guys in the truck? We can look at that one more time. It almost looked like Rosemeyer took that in. We'll look at it after the kick. Sold it pretty well, even if that's not what happened. Just like that, East Central storms back.
And Browndyke will let this slip through again for another extra point.
All right, so let's watch here. Yeah, it looked like it did. They actually did hand it off to Rosemeyer because Maxwell rolled out to his right empty-handed, and then he handed it off to number 13 Fike, as you saw. So heck of a play call there by East Central.
Seeing some creativity on either side of the field. Trickeration.
Yeah. Going to get this on a slow-mo replay for you, and you'll be able to see this handoff to Rosemeyer a little bit better. Boy, they sold that well. You can see it right there, the ball coming out of the left side. So it went Maxwell, Rosemeyer to Fike. Nice play call. That'll give some folks over the EAIC something to think about this year. Seeing that on the huddle tape, right?
Think so.
Well, you know, we've said it so many times. There's so many weapons on this East Central team.
Yep.
You know, looking at the stat sheet through 2 games, there were guys that had 1 carry here, 1 grab there. Well, boy, they're using them all tonight and using them effectively.
Very spread out attack for this team as Brown Dyke sets up another kickoff. They didn't win a state championship for nothing last year over in Indiana.
Very good point.
Very low kick, and this is dropped to the end zone. They're going to call it a touchback, though, as they'll probably say that he was there. That number 32, Cam Herring, to return that one. 5'10", 175, sophomore running back.
Well, we need both of these teams to continue to run the football. I don't want to jinx ourselves by saying exactly what's happening, but there's a lot of delays happening in games in the area right now. And thankfully, it's not reached us up here in Northwest Hamilton County. So let's keep running the football and chip away at this clock, guys.
Sounds like a plan.
No penalties, no run of 8 straight passes. Let's run the ball. Get this game in without delay, because this is a great football game. This game has far exceeded my expectations, and I didn't really know what to expect coming in. But it's been a great football game. Really enjoying this one. I hope you are as well.
Last 3 have been close, too. This one pretty much aligned with that. Kennett here over the middle, and that's intercepted. Nope, never mind.
Close, though.
Incomplete. Heard the reaction from the East Central side. Thought maybe that they were able to grab that, being number 7, Donnerworth.
So an interesting adjustment here in the second half. You're seeing that Kennett's had a pretty clean pocket so far on the 2 drives they've had in this game. East Central sitting back in more of a zone and not bringing as much pressure in up front at the point of attack, which could open up the run for Harrison if they're paying attention to that.
Kennett with a keep here, pretty quick to make that decision.
Speaking of which.
Find some room there in the middle, but not enough.
Pick a yard or 2 when you can get it. Yeah, only bringing 4 it looked like that time, right?
Yep.
Up on the line. So they want to try to make things a little difficult on Kennett, but it can hurt you with his feet too. Came into this game, decent enough numbers rushing the ball, 17 for 75, averaging basically 4.5, couple touchdowns, but did have 1 fumble rushing the ball this year so far as well.
That all in their last game against Butler. That happened last week here at Bill Cutts Field. Kennett steps back to pass here on 3rd down at 7, and here's that one a little bit too far ahead of the intended target, Jace Fett.
Well, again, you saw he had plenty of time. The pressure came in late as the lineman couldn't hold his block through the pass. But plenty of time for Kennett to get set and make that decision.
4:33 to go, 4th down at 7. Will come up for the Wildcats. Punt formation here. Max Measle on. Might even expect some trickery here even. But that would be quite a gamble this deep into Wildcat territory. Measle gets the kickoff. Couldn't make solid contact. Takes a few bounces though past the 50. And will lay to rest right along the far sideline at the 48-yard line where it's touched by the Wildcats. And East Central now, their offense onto the field looking for more points.
Not the greatest punt in the world. Looked to be off the side of the foot.
Kind of went sideways in the air there and went straight to the right side. So it'll be Maxwell and company back on here for the Trojans. The Harrison defense looking for another stop in this 11-point contest.
Maybe it was the outside of the foot then. Boy, I tell you, we just got to rush a cool air into the press box.
Ooh.
I hope that's not an indication of what's blowing in. I'll take the high heat and humidity. There's that trickeration again.
That's Rosemeyer, and that is an open lane to the end zone. Another matchup here with Cox, and Rosemeyer wins this time for the East Central touchdown. That is a huge play. 34-17 the score now. Rosemeyer picks up another TD on the ground.
Well, I'll tell you, all the local prep football shows and, of course, the prep writers at the Inquirer all do their players of the week, their impact performers of the week. If Rosemeyer's not in that conversation after this game he's had this week, somebody's not doing a good enough job of getting word out about this young man, because he is single-handedly dominating this game. Let's just call it what it is at this point. He is dominating this game.
Have to agree with that. Extra point is going to be another good one, no surprise, from Browndyke. So it's now a 35-17 game, and when Harrison had a great start to the half, we thought maybe they could do some things, but East Central has come out and silenced them.
Yeah, it really tells you about the resilience of this East Central team. They weren't going to get down even though momentum was squarely on the side of the Wildcat sideline. They fought back. They executed their game plan. They're playing good football, using their weapons, spreading the football around a little bit, but giving it to their stud, Rosemeyer, when it matters. I cannot wait to see the stats at the end of this game. He ought to be in player of the week conversations and all those sorts of things. He really should. Sometimes Southeast Indiana gets a little bit ignored in our market, especially when you got a game tonight like Coleraine, St. X. But yeah, you said it a minute ago. These guys won the state title last year for a reason. Obviously, some comings and goings with seniors leaving and underclassmen coming up to the varsity, but they're a very good football team.
Went 12-3 overall, undefeated in the Eastern Indiana Conference, and beat Lowell 14-7 in the state championship game at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis.
This kicker's something else too. Browndyke,
he can really get that thing off.
I mean, not only is he good at splitting the uprights, he's getting it in for a touchback every time, and that's something that we really haven't seen a lot through week 1 of Ohio action. We haven't seen a ton of touchbacks, at least in the games that you and I have covered.
Yep. Limits that Harrison ground attack on the returns. So East Central pretty much knows that they're going to start at the 20-yard line on every time they go out on defense. 4:13 left in the third quarter. Harrison here will begin the drive. 35-17 score, and they're looking for some points, and they need them pretty fast. And as the home crowd here, not much to cheer about in the second half other than that onside kick and then the field goal that followed.
Yeah, the defense is really giving the Wildcats fits. They know they're going to pass the ball.
Getting in trouble again, dodging white jerseys left and right, but finally taken down with no receivers open downfield. That's going to be another loss for the Wildcats, about 4.
Yeah, here you see, they're only bringing 4, but there was Crummer in there to blow it up, calls Kennert to cut back over until the reinforcements arrived. So the front 4 getting it done for the Trojans, while the other 7 are making it a little bit harder for Kennert to get to his receivers, especially Levi Tidwell.
2nd and 15. Kennett looking for a long pass. Finds one over the middle, and there's a good catch. That one to Jace Fett.
Why was there a whistle?
Not sure about that. It looks like the catch was complete.
That's odd.
Yep. Number 10. Oh, that's going to be Levi Tidwell. He's limping off the field, and he just went straight down.
Oh, he went to his knee. That's why.
Okay.
I missed that. Yeah, that's why. Knee hits a grounder down in the high school game. Yeah, you don't want to lose Tidwell. You said that was him that limped off,
yep,
right?
And they're tending to him right now.
That's been the security blanket for Kennert tonight, as we've talked about.
Looking at one of his ankles, possibly. There's a catch over the middle to Fett again. They've targeted him a lot here in the second half, and he will move the chains for Harrison. But if they lose Tidwell, then they're going to have to go back to the depth chart here and make a few other receivers get some catches. Number 10 in black.
Well, I think what Harrison's going to have to do is focus on those short and intermediate passes. The defense that East Central's given them, it's sort of taken away that long pass. And again, they've only been rushing pretty much 4 players at the point of attack. So they're going to have to find a hole underneath, and that's going to be early movement by the Wildcats. Over on the top of the formation, one of the receivers not on the same page as the rest of his teammates on the snap count.
First and 15 as they're going to have to drop back 5. Can't take those yards to this point in this football game. 2:44 to go at the third. 3 to the far side. 1 receiver to the near side. Another pass for Kinnett, and although this time he steps up to run, dodges some more tackles, and that was an interesting play. Tried to get off a pass there, got deflected. One of his linemen got his hands on it, but could not make the reception. It'll be an incomplete pass is the rule, and it will remain 2nd and 15. See, they're trying to throw that ball away and deflected off one of the Harrison players in front.
Okay.
So Kinnett here will try to get his offense in order on 2nd down at 15. 4 receivers looking downfield, has to roll back to the near side. 3 white jerseys coming at him. He's going to have to throw this one to the ground. And 3rd and 15 coming up. These receivers are not helping Kinnett at all right now.
Just interesting what East Central is doing to this Wildcat offense, essentially neutralizing it. They're only rushing 4, but taking away the targets, and obviously Harrison pass heavy.
Have been in this drive so far, and with Tidwell out, they can't really rely on him to both make a catch and run the football. They're still tending him on the sideline, and a lot of medical personnel looking at him right now. Kinnett will unwind here for a throw over the middle of the field to number 9, Rocky Weber, who has yet to be targeted tonight. And Glenn, we just saw a big flash of lightning up over the sky here at Harrison.
Well, that's not what we wanted, because if the officials notice that, which we hope they do in the interest of fan and player safety, it's an automatic 30-minute delay, according to Ohio rules, every time they see a flash of lightning.
Fortunately, not a lot of running plays either, like we were hoping for in the second half. Measle with the punt.
Good punt.
Donalworth back to catch it. Starts out on the left side, dodging through those black jerseys. Ran into his own man there at 40. And that's where he will go down as a collision of players came together there. East Central will start in their own territory with 2:01 left in the quarter in a 35-17 lead.
Yeah, just again, Donalworth really never got a chance to get explosive on this one, but made a couple of defenders miss, and it looked like he ran into his own man there. Or one of his own men was blocked into him by a Harrison defender. So, you know, again, I keep saying it, if we're able to keep this game going before the lightning hits, Donalworth has a very good chance to break one. Go back to Rosemeyer. Finally made an adjustment. They get him on the end over there, but some extracurriculars, as you saw there in the middle of the field, with number 8 of Harrison, number 31 of East Central.
Not much of a gain there for the Trojans. They only give him 1 for a 2nd and 9 coming up.
Yeah, the interesting offensive combinations and techniques, strategies continue for East Central. Very different look on that snap there. Great catch by our director in the truck, Dean Lowry. Point that out to us. Couldn't quite see that up here.
Going up the middle there for the Trojans. So go to number 45, Nick Griffin, who we've called a little bit tonight.
Some pads popping on that one, Patrick.
Mentioned Dean Lowry, our director. Rest of our great ICRC crew here from Harrison. Working tonight, late into the night, and we're here early this afternoon, laying down the cable, putting up the cameras.
Hot day for that today.
Yep.
Thanks to those guys bringing you all the great action here.
There's a long pass. Maxwell airs that one, went off the hands though.
Just off the fingertips.
Number 88, David Pedescu.
Yeah. Pedescu 2 for 44 coming into this game, continuing that trend like we talked about of spreading the ball around to the different weapons that East Central has.
Just beyond his reach, 2nd and 10 coming up. Another one of those formations for East Central.
Same thing, Rosemeyer and then back to Fick, right?
Yep.
There he goes.
Spike is gone, and Cox might try to run him down, and that time he's able to lay a shoulder into him, trips him up there before the goal line. That's a good tackle, but there's damage done for East Central as Fike, another part of their offensive arsenal, able to get them very close to the end zone there.
Yep. Off the snap, it goes to Rosemeyer. Hands it back to Fike. He's off to the races and then pushed out of bounds by Blake Cox, the junior. He's a wide receiver, but doing some double duty on defense tonight, trying to slow down this arsenal of weapons that the Trojans are exhibiting tonight. Timeout on the field.
And Glenn, looking at the radar here, it's not looking too good right now.
Well, not what we wanted to hear.
This might be the lightning delay that we were anticipating here. 33 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, and a thunderhead is moving into the area about 20 miles away right now, and we've seen some lightning from that particular storm, and that will mean that we'll have to take a 30-minute break, like you said. Fans will have to take cover here, and we'll have to wait it out to play a quarter and just a little bit more in this football game. So 35-17, the East Central Trojans have the lead, and this break will give both teams another opportunity to talk over things and rest. As we watch right now, Levi Tidwell is being helped off the field as Harrison exits by, well, he has a trainer on each of his arms. So that's obviously not very good news. Can't really see what exactly they've done to him. He is walking on both feet, but if he does not return to this game, that's going to be a big loss for Harrison.
Absolutely.
So 33 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. We'll wait out this storm for you and bring you the rest of the action coming up next. Hopefully it is short on ICRC-TV.
Dean, I don't know.
Hi, folks. Glenn Olson and Patrick Eschen with you from the press box here at Harrison High School. Wanted to end the broadcast by letting you know the game has been officially postponed for tonight. There will not be a resumption of play. It will resume at 7 p.m. Saturday. We appreciate you tuning in to Friday Night Football on ICRC-TV Sports. Take care.